Hi, this is Anne from Gamification Nation, and today I want to talk to you about project management for mountain climbers. And this is a special request from a good friend of mine, Jen, who climbs mountains. She climbed Mount Kilimanjaro last year, and just last week she climbed Mount Everest, or at least she got to base camp, and she was a team leader. Now, she asked me a while ago and she said, look, I'm taking on this really big project in the autumn. Can you help me with the methodology? What's involved? What should I do? And, how can I do this to the best of my ability? Well, I have in the past delivered a course on Ocean's 11 type project management. And as you know, every good project has 3 ultimate goals. It has to be on time, on budget, and do what it was supposed to do. So if you're thinking projects, they have a beginning, an end, and then 3 main goals: on time, on budget, and do what it was supposed to do. Now, there's loads and loads of things and theory that you can put into it, but I want to make it pure and very, very simple. And this is for Jen, but for all those other people who need to do project planning and project management as part of their job. The hardest part in project management is actually managing resources and managing risks. And with resources, I mean budget, timelines, but also people. Now, I've come across this absolutely fantastic app. It's called Props to You. Now, in Props to You, you can pretty much upload all of the tasks necessary. You, as the project manager, can basically check progress. You can also give rewards. You can basically, I better start again. We can basically assign to people rewards on job well done, you're a great self-starter, but I can also give surprise eggs to people with surprise tasks, just like you would in a game. The element of surprise, the element of fun. So there could be some surprise Easter eggs popping up into your task. But what it does, it allows you to track the current projects, your current tasks, and then also your skills. Because the hardest part in getting a team together in terms of project management is to basically have an inventory of all of the skills that you have on board. When do you need to go outside of the team? When can you just stick within the group that you already have? And is that person the best qualified person or the best skilled person to do a particular task, or is there somebody else better than you? It allows you to stick to time. It allows you to basically organize all of the admin, so you can attach different files that are important. In my view, it's always important to keep all your difficult project information in the one place. There's a few key documents you need for every given project. First thing is a feasibility study. Is your project worth doing, and what's in and what's not in the project? So your scope. And I always refer to it, you got to know your Moscow. So is your must have, your should have, your could have, and your won't have. Okay, you got to know your Moscow. And that's just an acronym to remember it better. Okay, it's not physically going to Russia. Although there are great mountains in Russia. So anyway, so we have basically your feasibility study, your Moscow or your scope of your project. You also need a project plan. By when, who's going to do what, and what's going to cost. So your project plan, so that you can keep track of everything. And the who has to be detailed, as in it's got a name and a department attached, not just a vague term. It's got a person, one ideally, and if 2, both names are on the task attached to it. And then it is a case of assessing risks as you go along the way. So for my friend Jen, for example, going up to Mount Everest, they had some issues along the way. So they had a challenge with weather. They couldn't actually land in the airport. So hence their trip was delayed by 2 days. Now, this is rather normal in that area. With bad weather, the airport just has less visibility. The same with planning for resources. They had to plan in beforehand how much they could carry. There's limitations to what you can bring up the mountain. They had to raise funds to get there. So they had to get all of that in place by a certain date. So there was a lot of things that Jen and her team had to manage before she could actually successfully get to Mount Everest. So as far as project management is concerned, in my view, once you have a risk assessment in place, what's the worst that could happen? So you have some showstoppers. If the flights could never land and you lose your window of opportunity to climb because of inclement weather, well, then obviously that's a deal breaker and project's off. Good reason for it. Safety first. The second types of risks are risks that are medium, where you can work around. So maybe there was an other access way. Could you have gone another way? Could you have delayed it like they did by 2 days? So that's a medium. It's a plan B. And then the low risk type stuff, well, I forgot a particular cream. Maybe somebody else in the team has that. So there are risks that are showstoppers. Those you have to have a plan B for if you can. The medium ones, they're the workarounds. Again, they will come up. Every single project has one. And the smaller stuff, you just deal with as they come up. And project management is big time fun and should have a big splash celebration at the end. So celebrate in style when you reach the end of your goal or you get to the top of your mountain.